What would you do if damning proof of cheating arrived 3 weeks before your wedding but something about it felt wrong? 3 weeks before my wedding, I got a message that nearly destroyed everything I'd built with the man I loved. But here's the thing about being a software engineer who's spent years debugging code and spotting inconsistencies: you learn to look closer when something doesn't feel right. I'm Muna Patel, 29 years old, and I work at a tech startup in Seattle where I spend my days hunting down bugs and anomalies in complex systems. That skill, which sometimes drives my friends crazy when I overanalyze restaurant menus or movie plots, ended up saving my entire future. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start from the beginning, back when everything seemed perfect and my biggest worry was whether the florist could get peonies in November. Ezra Morrison and I had been together for 4 years, engaged for 8 months, and we were 3 weeks away from what was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. We'd met at a mutual friend's birthday party where he'd somehow convinced me to play beer pong despite my protests that I had terrible hand-eye coordination. He was right, I was terrible, but he thought my competitive streak was charming. By the end of the night, we exchanged numbers and he'd promised to teach me his secret technique. For years later, I still couldn't land a ball in a cup, but I could land a husband. Ezra worked as an architect, designing sustainable housing projects, and he had this way of seeing beauty in structures that most people walk past without a second glance. He'd stop on our walks and point out corbels and cornices, getting genuinely excited about load-bearing walls and natural light optimization. I loved that about him, the way he found magic in the mundane. Where I saw ones and zeros, he saw lines and spaces. We balanced each other. Our wedding was set for the 15th of November at a historic mansion in the countryside, exactly the kind of place Ezra would appreciate for its architecture and I would love for its garden. We invited 200 guests, including my parents who were flying in from Mumbai with half of our extended family. My mom had been planning her only daughter's wedding since I was probably 5 years old, and my dad had saved for years to make it perfect. The price tag had climbed to $85,000, which made me nauseous every time I thought about it, but both sets of parents insisted on going all out. Deposits were paid, dresses were altered, and my cousin had already arrived from India 2 weeks early to help with preparations. Everything was perfect. Until it wasn't. It was a Tuesday evening, the 20th of October, and I was working late finishing up a sprint deadline. Ezra had texted earlier saying he'd pick up Thai food on his way home. I was deep in code when my phone buzzed with an Instagram notification. A message request from an account I didn't recognize, just a random string of numbers and letters. I almost ignored it, probably would have if I hadn't been looking for an excuse to step away from my screen. I opened it, and my stomach dropped.